Hey guys, it's Rod here again with 13 Outdoors, and I just want to do a follow-up to the video I released out, I believe that was Saturday, about some of the food stores that I have. And I'm so grateful to everybody who reached out to me, all the new followers that I got, or subscribers, whatever you want to call it. But I kind of wanted to answer a couple questions. First off, that was just the things that I had in that room. I had a lot of people tell me you don't have enough water, you don't have enough meat, you don't have enough this, that, blah, blah, blah. I'm not one of these preppers who show everything I have. I didn't show my ammunition, I didn't show any of my weapons. Somebody said something about having enough water. I live in a city who has an ordinance that we're not allowed to have water barrels. Do I have water barrels? Maybe. I'm not going to post that on my videos for somebody in my city to come check. The other thing, I do have a water source that is only a couple blocks away. It's a creek that stays full of water all the time. Am I going to drink that? Only in an emergency. I do have live straws. I have Sawyers, but that water is pretty much going to be for cleaning, for watering plants. Cleaning up for the dogs, in a pinch, stuff like that. Before you hop on me about, give my dog dirty water. Dogs are built different than people. They can withstand a lot of stuff. So, because I know most people give their dog tap water, and if they can drink that, they can definitely drink creek water. So, going back, I'm trying to think some of the other things people said. Oh, meat. I didn't show you my freezers. I have deer meat from last year, and not only do I have the frozen stuff, I made some sausage. I have some dried stuff, and I don't know if I said this or not on my last video, but I do have access to somebody who's got a freeze dryer, and this year I'm going to try to utilize that. Some other questions I had, somebody told me that I need to have fresh produce. I do have a garden in the back. My garden is probably not where it should be. I'll be honest with you. I work a lot. I stay busy. But my garden, I had cucumbers, cantaloupes, onions. I did garlic last year, pulled it this year. Tomatoes, peppers. It might be a little too late to plant some beans, but with Illinois, especially Southern Illinois, you can get away with it planting it now. It's beginning of September. I had a couple years ago, I had snow peas growing into January. I had Swiss chard growing into January. I did potatoes actually this year too. Had a little bit of trouble, but it was funny. I knew exactly where I planted it, but I must have had a couple stray potatoes because I had plants that grew, probably for some potatoes from last year. I have a compost pile and that's what I replenish my garden with. When I first started my garden, I have not raised beds, but I got boxed in. I tilled up my ground. I bought mulch and peat and topsoil and potting soil and did the whole thing. I actually work for a company that does granular fertilizers, so I'm able to get some extra resource, but I rake up all my leaves, cut all my grass, I put it in there, my scrap food. Trying to think some other questions that people had for me. Maybe heat. I said I had the little generator and stuff. I live in an area that has quite a few trees, and as far as heat goes, I do have a little Mr. Buddy heater, one of the mid-size ones, and I do have propane for that. I also have my camper outside in a pinch. I can sleep in that. But when that runs down, got a lot of trees here, and I do have an old wood-burning fireplace that's on my front porch. I use it in the fall. We sit out there and have a couple bourbons and eat some snacks and bring a TV out there and watch TV. In a pinch, I can bring it in. I have cast iron, so I can cook with that too. My old house had a wood-burning fireplace, and we lost power for about 4 days, and my wife at the time was amazed that we were eating hot meals all the time. Still cold going to the bathroom, but we put tarps up in the living room to kind of block off all the rooms. Put the mattress in there, brought the dogs in there, and we just chilled in there for 3 days. It was nice and warm. Yeah, she was bored. She couldn't play with her phone. We couldn't watch her dumb shows on TV. Whatever. Um, Other food source I have, I fish most of the year. So I clean a lot of fish. I freeze them. I have that. And, comes down to it. There's rabbits, there's raccoons, there's groundhogs, there's squirrels in my neighborhood. And crap hits a fan, or, I need some meat. I'm going to go out there and do what I got to do. Like I said, with the wood burning fireplace, I have a nephew that does landscaping. So anytime they cut down a tree or have excess wood, he brings it here to me. So I probably have a good year and a half supply of wood in case I have to. I have 3 big trees in my yard. I don't really want to chop them down, but if I have to, the chances of if something happens, everybody's staying in place is really, I think a lot of people will probably want to go someplace where they know that people have sources. I don't really tell my neighbors what I do as far as keeping stores. Now, would I take care of my neighbors in a pinch? Yeah, I'd help them out. But again, if you live in a neighborhood and you can trust your neighbors, let them in on your secret, help them out, get started. Like I said, I have a grocery store right next door to me very much. And walk over there and buy a case of canned goods every week if I have, just to kind of build up my stores. I have another closet next to that room that has water, has more canned goods. Some of the vegetables that I have and produce, I can them. Everything from the cherry tomatoes to make, just kind of roast them for soups and stuff. And then making tomato sauces, salsa. And I know it only lasts so long. I used to be a professional cook. But it's good to have that. Extra rings and lids for my bell jars. What else do I have? I have a lot of spices, and I know spices only last so long. Oh, that was the other thing. Sorry I'm kind of rambling. Just got off a 12-hour shift of crap city today. Somebody had commented about some of the box meals I had, the Zatarain rice packs and stuff, and they said that they had problems with them tasting funny and that after, I don't know if they said 6 months or a year and that. Here's my thing on there. The ones that I get are sealed in the paper with the like aluminum things. I haven't ever had an experience where they tasted bad. I know if they go bad, and that's usually if they get air to them, they will go kind of rancid and stuff. And you would just kind of know when, as soon as you open it, you would smell it. But as far as them like being a little off tasting and stuff, some things are going to happen. And I'm never going to judge anybody, but some people who complain about, oh, this didn't taste good, this doesn't taste good, they've never been hungry. I've never been hungry for an extended period of time. I've been in combat and probably had to go a day and a half without a full meal, stretching an MRE. Hunger pangs, yes. Starving, no. I think the longest I've ever went without eating anything is probably a day. Still had water to drink and stuff. But again, not trying to judge people, but if you're in a survival situation, you're worried about flavor over calories and surviving, then maybe you should practice, suffering a little bit. Nobody wants to. Everybody wants to be comfortable. But if it comes to that point where it's survival or I'm not eating that because it doesn't taste good, you're just going to die. Sorry. That's the way it is. Back to some of the other things that I'm trying to remember some of the other things. I should have wrote this down, but again, I just wanted to kind of get this video out and answer some questions. And again, if you guys get any more comments or concerns about things that I have here, feel free, because I've been enjoying answering these questions the best I can. And some people have really given me some good tips. I actually need a good tip on flour because I had about 30 pounds of flour. And I don't know if it was 1 bag, 2 bags, where I bought it from. I got weevils and I had to get rid of most of it. Some of the bags did not get them in there, and like sifting through it is not an answer, because if they're eating, they're pooping. So if somebody knows that, I know that with the dried pasta and the beans and stuff, you can throw them in the freezer for a few days, and it'll kind of kill anything that might be in there. That's one of the things. But I got friends that do all Mylars. I got friends that just do totes and seal them up. There's some of the gadgets that people have. They're great to have, but if you don't have power, they're not going to work. It's a good thing to have that generator, but again, if there's not a source of fuel, that thing's going to be kind of obsolete. I kind of got that for now, in case there are power outages. Like I said, living in Illinois, we really don't have the problem with rolling blackouts. We have a great power company here in Illinois, and I think the longest I've ever been out of power is, like I said, like 3 days, and that's because of heavy snowstorms and ice and stuff here. Never been out that long for a thunderstorm or tornadoes in the area or anything in this area. So, sorry again, I'm kind of like beat. So if I'm going all over the place, I apologize. Some of the other things. Oh, my truck. So there for a while before I got my camper, I used to have the rack system, the overland system. But I always keep a tote, some dry food, bottles of water. And I know people say, oh, you got water, it's hot outside, blah, blah, blah. I get it. BHPs or whatever the heck they are in there. Again, I carry a Sawyer. In a situation, I'm drinking that water. I might run it through my filter or whatever. Maybe I'm just built different than most people. I haven't ever gotten sick from drinking water. I'm drinking drinking out of natural springs at a park in Pennsylvania. I drank out of wells. I drank water out of the tap in Germany in the 80s. So I don't know. Maybe it's just the way I was raised. A lot of fermented stuff, a lot of weird stuff we ate growing up in a family whose grandparents grew up in the Depression. But in my truck, I always keep stuff in there. I've got a small tent, I've got tarps, I got sleeping bags, I got blankets, and I also carry stuff for my dog. Water dish, got some snacks in there, some treats, road flares, fire starters, extra knives. I got some Gatorade, small Gatorade bottles, sewing kit, extra box ammunition. I couldn't even tell you what else I got. I've got a small EDC pack that has fishing supply in there. It's got sewing needles. It's got first aid. I got a small first aid kit that's actually pretty good. And then I got a bigger one that I keep that has everything from, little band-aids all the way up to tourniquets. I do not have a suture kit. Would I be able to sew myself up if I knew it was the difference between bleeding out and just dealing with the pain? Yes, but I'm not the best stitcher. I can whip stitch really good. I can do the quick knots and stuff. But yeah, in that situation, I guess I could do that. So yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think of some of the other things that some people had commented. Some of the a lot of things were, the ultra pasteurized milk. I had somebody say that stuff only lasts for a handful of months and it goes bad. Again, I was in the Army. We had UTH milk, and it wasn't pasteurized as good as the stuff is pasteurized now. That stuff was supposed to be 5 to 7 years. And we found stuff that was 10 years old. Still fine. If you're doing the whole milk, it is going to get cream on top like regular ones. You might want to scrape that off if you don't want that. Not a big deal. I buy this stuff. I've been buying it for, 3-4 years now, maybe longer. I haven't ever had a problem with it either. Again, once you open it, it's just like regular milk. You got 10 to 12 days kind of use it. I probably used it longer, used it in a recipe or whatever. But again, I cooked for a long time. I know the ins and outs of doing some of this. In the restaurant, no, don't worry. I didn't break any health codes or anything like that. But for me, it's fine. But yeah, I got some communication stuff, some radios. I know they only go so far, but if you find yourself with another place where you have people around you, it's definitely a good thing to have if you're out searching. I got a lot of batteries too. I don't really do the rechargeable ones so much because if you don't have a way to recharge them, they're kind of useless. So go to Dollar Tree. I don't care what anybody says. I only buy Duracells. I only buy this. Blah, blah, blah. In a pinch, they work. They're cheap. Buy a lot of them. I keep them in my trail cameras. They're good for a year. I don't know what to tell you. Duracells last same time, whatever. What else do I have? I always keep coats in the car. I always keep blankets, not for me, for the dog too, or not just for me, for the dog too. I always keep a fire starting kit. I always keep 3 things in my pocket all the time. A pocket knife, a Bic lighter, and usually some Carmex. Those 3 things, you get some fire going whenever. Wet wood, use some of that Carmex, petroleum jelly, it'll light even wet wood. You make some shavings with that knife. I also keep a knife sharpener in there so it's not going to get dull. If it gets broke, kind of SOL, but I have like 2 extra knives in there. Whatever. And then also the Bic lighter. You can sit there and fire start and use your ferricidium rods and all that. It's fine, because I like doing that stuff too. But if I'm outside and I'm freezing my ass off, I'm using that. Get that lighter out, get them going. There's some tricks on it. Take that little child safety thing off. That way it won't lose gas in your pocket. And if your thumb and hands are really cold, it's easier to flick than to push that thing down and try to flick it. If you do run out of gas, keep that lighter because you can make a spark with it. If you know how to do char cloth, or you can get some small paper and stuff, you can get going. It's also good to keep the little, again, the ferricidium rods, but the little fire starter bars. I can't remember what that. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about, but yeah, I just kind of want to do a backup video on this and kind of reassure people I'm not the top expert, but nobody is. Unless you got billions of dollars and you got that stuff stocked up. But again, you never know when your time is. You can have all that stuff, step out one time and get zipped, or you get sick and all that stuff's just sit. So I do what I do. I keep enough stuff, I think. Do I need more? Yeah, everybody needs more. I'm 55. How long am I going to live? How much do I really need? As long as I can pull my bow back and pull the trigger, load clips or magazines, I can go fishing, all this stuff. As long as I've got that, nuclear bomb comes down, everybody might be screwed if you worry about radiation, all that stuff. And so a weather disaster could happen. You could start a fire in your house. You have to have a backup plan, have to keep on going and stuff. So I know I'm kind of rambling again. Like I said, I'm tired. I should have waited till tomorrow afternoon to make this, but it is what it is. And so like I said, I just kind of want to do a backup plan on that. And as far as like I was talking about, having food on hand. Actually, for tonight, I had some pickles that I had fermented. Made some fried pickle chips and some fish that I caught over the weekend. That's what I had for dinner. Had a bottle of peanut oil too. Not a big fan of peanut oil, but it's great for frying stuff like that. So, yeah, I just try to stay ahead and think of what I might need. I live day by day. God can come get me anytime he wants to. But I don't think he wants me to just be sitting on my hands waiting for him to drop manna and quail out of the sky either. So there's that. But yeah, I'm going to sign off again. And if anybody wants to comment or give me some tips, I am more than happy to take any tips that you guys got. Especially anybody who else is prepping or whatever you want to call it. I just say I'm stocking up on stuff and keeping it. So till I see you again, hopefully I get a dove hunting video out maybe this weekend. Maybe go out and spot some deer and just see how they're moving in that. But again, have a good evening, guys. I'll talk to you later. See ya. Bye.